Ethan infiltrates a prison in Austria to recruit Theo Degas in Paris, Gabriel's former lieutenant who left him after loyalties changed. Paris informs him that Gabriel is in London, at the US Embassy, where Ethan on arrival is identified by Gabriel's men, but it's quickly rescued by Grace, a fellow IMF agent. Both agents are injected, captured, and taken to meet Gabriel, who uses the memories of Ethan's late wife Julia to torture him, asking for the key, threatening to kill someone he holds close. Knowing that his team's been compromised, Gabriel forces Ethan to recover the Podkova module, developed from the Rabbit's Foot, in a sunken Russian submarine, Sevastopol, which would give him great control over the entity which has forsaken him. If there's one thing that can kill the entity, it would be its original source code buried very deep inside the sunken Russian submarine, which was carrying a computer virus of an unknown origin suspected to sabotage the Podkova, rendering the submarine detectable. But instead it deceived the crew and destroyed the submarine, a state-of-the-art vessel meant to be completely undetectable. And the secret to this was the Podkova, a counter-acoustic algorithmic drive located deep inside the submarine. The Podkova was designed to self-destruct if tampered with, and so the only way to open it is with a cruciform key. Gabriel charges Ethan to pinpoint that sub to the square yard.
Pinpoint that sub down. Medic! I need him alive. Kill her.
He escapes after Ethan and Grace break free from his torture, but Paris wants him dead. Ethan uses a pod-like device to contact the entity, which shows him visions of a nuclear apocalypse. It tells Ethan that Luther will die and request access to a digital bunker in South Africa in order to survive. After his visions, Ethan charges his team with obtaining the coordinates of the submarine, then races to save Luther, but it's too late as Gabriel steals the poison pill and traps Luther with a time bomb, wanting him to die because he knows that Luther is the only one who can make another poison pill, and Ethan, who he wants to live, is the only one who can get to that submarine in the depths of the ocean. Luther sacrifices himself to minimize the blast as Ethan races out of the tunnel. The CIA, led by Jasper Briggs, apprehends Ethan and takes him to Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. With 3 days until the entity takes over the remaining nuclear weapons control facilities and launches nuclear Armageddon, Ethan is taken to the Situation Room, and minutes later, the president enters. He requests for access to a military ship and the key to locate the submarine and use the Podkova to kill the entity.
It's still not clear why he's here.
To kill the entity. Either you destroy the world, or the entity does.
Ethan manages to convince the president, who secretly authorizes his request against the wishes of her executives. Somewhere in the northern Pacific, Ethan boards a military ship, where he requests the commander to fly him directly towards a conflict zone where the Russians know that the Sevastopol vanished, but are not particularly sure of where it is. Meanwhile, Grace, Benji, Paris, and Degas travel to St. Matthew Island in the Bering Sea, a home to a Cold War-era naval sonar array that detected the Sevastopol sinking.
You gave him an aircraft carrier?
Someone will try to stop me.
Madam President.
That will be all.
Ethan's team arrives St. Matthew's Island, where they meet former CIA analyst William Donlow, who was exiled to the island after Ethan's 1996 break-in at the CIA headquarters. The group are met by a team of Russian special forces who have made sure that Donlow doesn't leave the island for years. He claims to not have the data they seek due to the fact that one day, a team came in and refixed all the data in the system. It does appear that the team of agents want the coordinates as well. Ethan is taken to the location where the USS Ohio will resurface. Ethan makes an early jump to rescue his transportation crew and is unexpectedly captured by a team of divers who happen to be members of the USS Ohio. He meets Captain Jack and requests that the ship dives to periscope depth and raise their antenna to enable him receive the transmission of the coordinates from his team. The Low Shark was deployed from Belgorod, the deadliest submarine in the Russian Navy, which also happens to be Captain Jack's second mission, to destroy that bastard. Ethan is taken to the Dive Master, who presents the Mark 7 pressure dive suit, specifically designed to reduce decompression time after diving profound depths, and Ethan will need to practice a pattern of breathing to be able to use the suit, which hasn't been tested below 300 feet. Donlow reveals that the coordinates were coincidentally memorized by him. He pens down the coordinates and gives it to Benji. Grace and Donlow's wife, Tepeza, pretend to go feed the dogs and takes out a Russian agent, causing a fight-off between Ethan's team and the Russian agents. Grace and Donlow's wife escape by dog sled as Donlow transmits the coordinates to Ethan, who is attacked by a doomsday assassin that infiltrated the USS Ohio. Ethan decodes Donlow's clever way of transmitting the coordinates, just in case the Russians were listening. Ethan opts to get off the sub as soon as the USS Ohio makes a turn towards the route they came from, just to distract the Russians. Donlow's wife gets off the sled and teaches Grace to control the dogs as she still has a long way to meet Ethan. The USS Ohio makes a turn, and Ethan gets off unnoticed by the tracking Russian sub. He dives further into the ocean with the decompression suit, and within a short time, he finally locates the Sevastopol. The vessel begins to take in more water, causing it to slide down the continental shelf, but Ethan presses on regardless, until he finds the entity's source code, the Podkova. He is forced to abandon his experimental suit, narrowly escaping through a torpedo tunnel just in time as the sub plunges into the depths of the ocean. He runs out of air halfway to the surface of the ocean as decompression sickness sets in. But then Grace arrives just in time. They have to find Gabriel, retrieve Luther's poison pill, and kill the entity. After reuniting with his team, Ethan maps out a plan to plug the poison pill into the Podkova, fooling the entity into entering a physical drive instead of the bunker mainframe. Once inside the drive, the entity will initiate a nuclear launch, and they will have around a blink of an eye to disconnect the drive before it can initiate the launch. On their arrival at the bunker, everywhere seems deserted until Gabriel ambushes the team with a timed nuclear device, demanding the Podkova. Gabriel is certain he will have the Podkova, because he has the poison pill. But then the CIA director Eugene and his agents interrupts Gabriel, seeking control of the entity.
What that plan is, Madam President, Hunt is gone.
We are in the entity's reality now.
Casualties.
We are out of time.
You'd be sacrificing 100 million lives.
Ethan instructs Eugene to give the source code to Gabriel and let him go right now. A gunfight ensues during which Benji is shot, and the bomb activates as Gabriel flees with the poison pill, closely pursued by Ethan, who has the Podkova. Gabriel boards a biplane and Ethan chases him using another plane as his team defuse the bomb, while Paris, Grease, and Benji prepare the main frame to trap the entity. As the entity prepares to launch a targeted nuclear strike at the 8 nations captured by it, the president of the US is left with two choices: to launch a strike before the entity, or to let the entity destroy the planet. America chooses to avoid a preemptive nuclear strike, then a doomsday assassin attacks and is gunned down. Ethan climbs onto Gabriel's plane and manages to break his arm, then retrieves the poison pill as Gabriel gets himself hit by the plane's rudder. Ethan abandons the doomed plane and deploys his parachute, inserting the poison pill into the Podkova mid-air, allowing Grace to trap the entity just before the nuclear launch. The entity is defeated, and Ethan is seen listening to a recorded message from Luther in the poison pill, which is destroyed afterwards. He is located, and Ethan gives the destroyed Podkova to Eugene. Reuniting in London, Grace gives the drive to Ethan with the entity in it, then the team parts ways. This is Falcon Recaps. Thanks for watching.